What's up everybody, this is Big Zess here and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be introducing ourselves into some salvaging gameplay and utilizing the salvage ship that I have behind me, which is the Drake Vulture. There is a limited time offer available at the moment. If you are new to Star Citizen, there is a free flight event going on, I believe from now until February 23rd. So if you're new to Star Citizen, you want to find out what this game is all about, this is the time to go ahead and get into Star Citizen. You can play for free, try out some ships. There's some certain ships that are available for free as well at the moment. More info and more detail will be available on the RSI website. All right, so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started with this review here. The Drake Vulture is one of the currently 5 available salvage ships in the game. There is another salvage ship, I believe, called the Moth. It's not currently available yet, but as of right now, me recording this, there are 5 salvage ships, 3 of which are considered solo salvage ships. The Drake Vulture is considered to be possibly one of the best, or if not the best, solo salvage ship. This Drake Vulture is available to be purchased in-game at Lorville for about 2.5 million AUEC. We're going to get started on the interior, starting with the cargo bay area. Go ahead and open that here. So inside this cargo area, we have access to a 12 SCU grid. It is 2 wide and 3 deep. You can stack one size SCU boxes or any size SCU box that you like. Stack them 2 high. So 12 SCU, you have free reign to put as many boxes as you would like, up to maybe an 8 SCU box on the grid. And this here is what they call the hopper. So when you're out there salvaging, your filler or your internal storage gets filled up with salvage content, being recycled material and later on some construction material as well. And on this screen, which we'll get into a little bit later, you get to eject particular materials into 1 SCU boxes at a time. They get spit out of this thing here, and then you fill up your cargo area with it. And once again, 12 SCU on the grid, but there's plenty of more space for you to fit boxes in here. Possibly up to around 20, maybe a little bit more SCU in total in this cargo area. There's also an availability to craft, utilizing the materials that we recycle. We can create some multi-tools, some multi-tool attachments, and other canisters and fuses, things like that. Gives us a little bit of a taste of the crafting system that's gonna be implemented to the game, hopefully in the next patch. We also have some access to some components here, shield generator, fuel tanks, things like that, but this is not accessible currently in the game. One other thing I want to note that you should be careful of while you are trying to press buttons here in the ship, particularly the buttons that control the doors. Each of the buttons that have, or the panels that control the doors, there's only 2 options. You can either close or open and then turn the lights off. There is no option to turn the lights back on, unfortunately. So if you accidentally turn the lights off, they're going to stay off, as it's in here currently off in the cargo area right now. Pretty dark in here. Go ahead and close that. It's going to get real dark. Yeah. So, it's best to just let the doors open themselves so that way you don't accidentally press the button. But we're going to go ahead and continue here. We go up to the second level. This will be more the habitation deck. We get access to quite a bit more components, life support, our quantum drive. We have a suit locker, weapon racks. We have a bed that's actually functional. You can log out if you would like. We also have access to internal storage, about 650K micro SU, pretty moderate. Fire extinguisher, and then we have access to more components here. Gravity generator and battery. This is currently not in the game, or at least not physicalized. A little access to like a kitchen nook of some sort. We then have access to some more components, a cooler, power plant. We also have a restroom on the right here with a functional toilet seat where you can actually sit down. Pretty cramped in here though. And then here on the bridge, we have access to our last couple of components, the scanner and the radar. Along with computer. This will probably be for flight blades later on. There's also a secondary entrance, which will be opening up this door. And then we can utilize this ladder here to get back, or really to get straight into the pilot seat. So now sitting down in the pilot seat. Again, this is a solo ship, so there's no co-pilot. We have 4 MFD screens and some physicalized buttons on really just the left side here. So with salvaging, you would have to press the M key to engage the salvaging scraper heads. And there's plenty of other guides on the internet or on YouTube on how you could and should equip your salvaging ship. There's a big debate whether or not, or really not much of a debate, but generally there's 2 different scalper heads that are available for this particular ship and many others that are solo style ships. You either have a braid scraper modules or the sense scraper modules. The abrades are pretty much a wide scoop that pulls in a lot of material quickly, but not very accurately or efficiently. And then there's the sense scraper modules that are kind of like the fine tooth comb. It's a scalper. Takes a bit longer and doesn't gather as much material, but if you have the patience, you'll gather more material with the sense scraper module over time than with the abrades. But if we're calculating things in the sense of how much money you can make per hour, it's just a lot easier to just scrape a certain hole and move on to the next thing versus being very tedious with a cinch. So abrades are usually the way to go. And we'll see that later on in this video as well. However, it probably is best for you to have both, because depending on the situation, it just might be more beneficial for you to finish something off with a fine-tooth comb if need be. I want to talk a little bit more about upgrades that I have for the Vulture. opening up these components a little bit more. So one thing that you can possibly notice is that there are multiple bays for certain components. So there's supposed to be 2 power plants, and there's also supposed to be 2 coolers. I have this quantum drive here, and there should be the shield generator down below. There's supposed to be multiple shield generators as well. I believe I only have one. Let me turn the flashlight on so we can see down here. Yeah, only got one shield generator. So the reason why I only have one component in the each available bay is because I have outfitted this ship to be as stealthy as possible. The idea of using the Vulture is you want to scavenge without being noticed. You want to go in at night if possible, or on the dark side of certain areas. You don't want to be detected. You want to just get your materials and get out. There is a multitude of ways that you can salvage. You can either salvage debris that's within certain asteroid fields. You can take salvaging contracts where you would generally have to pay a certain amount of money to get a license to be able to go out to wreckages and show those here. Will be under this salvaging contract list. And you'll have to pay a certain amount of money depending on the type of ships that are available. So if you want to salvage something like a hammerhead, that's going to give you a lot of resources, you'll have to pay 10,000 AUEC in order to do that. It's a lot easier to just salvage or to look for salvaging areas or for abandoned ships, basically, where players have just left the ship. You can make sure that you strip the shields, or if possible, enter the ship, power it off, and salvage the whole of the ship, and then leave the scene. All right, so let's go ahead and get out there and see what we can salvage. All right, I found this huge score. This is a Hercules C2 that I was able to get into, unlock the ports, and turn the shields off. I'm going to go ahead and get back into the Vulture here and start to strip this thing down. This is going to give us a lot of materials. So I pretty much just showed up to one of the mining areas on a moon. There's a lot of just abandoned ships that are around this area. And here's one of them. So yeah, this thing is going to give us quite a bit of material. So we're going to go ahead and start using the abrade modules here. One other thing to note before I get started with all this, what's really important about the build that I have on my ship, because I have stealth components, you can see the signatures that are coming from my components, which are extremely low. The highest one is a cross section. That's the one that you can't really change because the cross section is just it comes from the size of the ship. But EM signatures and IR signatures, these are two of the most important because this is what heavily influences the radar. So I shouldn't be able to be picked up off of radar within about 2 to 3 kilometers. Someone has to get pretty close in order to see me. So, enough yapping. Let's go ahead and get to salvaging. So with the abrades here, you can press the G button to turn on the gimbals. So that way you don't have to move your ship. You can just move the gimbals. It's still good to move your ship though. And we're just going to start on this wing. We already have 1.3, 1.4. You can see down here how much is being filled up. We're just getting started and we almost have 1.5 SCU of material. Now this thing is going to pull in a lot of material for us. Hopefully. And so for these corners, what we can do is we can press the right click and I can switch to the cinch modules, and that'll be the fine tooth comb type modules. That'll get these corners a lot better. If there's any material left, which there is a tiny bit of material. I'm going to try to pick this thing clean. All right, now we can try to get the underside. Swap to the abrades real quick. So the abrades are really good for the broad strokes. And then once you get most of the material, switch to the cinch to make sure you clean it up. This is just one part of the little piece of wing in the back. And we already are almost at 3 SCU. As you move your scalpers over a particular area, you can see on this right and left side, it shows you how much particular material is possibly left. And so as the percentage goes down, you can move it to another area, but you can also visually see how much is being picked clean. The distance also indicated by these bars here. The further away you are, the less efficient you'll be. So it's good to stay as close as possible. That way you can pick up as much material as possible. If you ever do get the opportunity to get into someone's abandoned ship, it's good if you have the opportunity to ensure that the ship is levitated above the ground. So that way you can get under the ship, you can get around the ship, you can just get all surfaces. You can touch every single surface. You want to make sure that you pick this thing completely clean. This is a really, really good find. getting a C2. Okay, so I have been scraping this M2 for about almost 30 minutes now, and my filler station is finally full. We are almost finished with the underside of the M2, but we still have the top available and some of the sides. So we are far away from finish with this thing. But before we continue, we're going to go ahead and empty our filler station by utilizing or interacting with the hopper in the cargo area. So let's go ahead and get down there and start taking out these boxes. Okay, so we're down here in the cargo area, and we see that we have 13 SCU of just pure recycled material composite. What we're going to do is we're just going to eject. And what we can do is we can select this auto eject button. So that way it'll just eject them, one after the other. We don't have to keep going to this panel. So we're going to go ahead and press eject, and it should just start popping them out. Turn on my flashlight in here. If you don't have a tractor beam, always remember you could craft one here, but you would have to make sure that you have not only the recycled materials, but you would also have the appropriate construction materials as well. So you might have to fracture another ship just to get the construction materials. Okay. So as this is filling up, we have our internal storage that's going down. And you want to continue to keep freeing this area right here, because this is where the boxes are going to come out. We don't want to block this. All right, so we have now emptied our total internal storage. We have the cargo grid is completely full, and we're going to start stacking boxes in this alleyway now. Let's get back upstairs and continue salvaging the M2. All right, I'm back in the Vulture seat, and as you can see here, the Vulture is one of the, I believe, 2 available Drake ships that also has the lamp module installed. Using the lamp mode when it's dark, as it is right now, it's a lot easier to see how much of the ship still has some hull left. So we have this area, that area, this area. So we're almost done with the bottom, almost. And then on the top, we have pretty much the entire ship almost left. So we're going to finish up the bottom here, and then we'll move to the top. I usually don't leave lamp mode on, because once I get the beam started, it seems to be a little bit too bright. But yeah, I just wanted to demonstrate that the Vulture does have lamp modules on it, so it's useful if you want to use it. It's a whole lot better than using your lights, your exterior lights, because if you have your exterior lights on, folks can see you, and that's not what you want. Okay, so we have filled up our filler station again. We still have a little bit of space left, or a little bit of area left to do on the bottom, but I went ahead and started to scrape the top just because it's a bit easier to scrape. We have quite a bit left, and to be quite honest, I don't really think I'm going to have enough storage space in my cargo bay and in my hopper to deconstruct this entire thing. So I'm probably just going to have to call it quits after I fill up my cargo bay with what we have now, and then just fill up the hopper. So let's go ahead and get back to the cargo bay and see what we can do down there. Okay, so the hopper has stopped. I don't know. Let's see if I can zoom in over there. No, I can't really see it, but It seems to be... Okay, I was able to start it again. Woo! All right. If it gets obstructed, it'll stop. Yeah, it's obstructed again. All right, I think that's as much as I can eject at the moment. We're gonna go ahead and just fill up our hopper, and then we'll head back to base and see how many SUs we have in total. Okay, our filler station is full. We have salvaged most of the hull. Most of it. That's the bottom side. Top side, we still had... Oh, wait, no. That was the top side. Yeah, top side. Almost completely done. We still had some crevices here and there to salvage, but almost completely stripped. We haven't fractured it yet, and I don't have any more space. So this has been a very successful run so far. We're going to go ahead and head back to base, so that way we can see how much RMC we have pulled during this run. I'll see you in a moment. All right, so we have made it into our hangar here. We are definitely going to need to use our secondary exit to get this thing unloaded. Okay, so we have pulled out 23 so far, and then we have 13 left in the hopper here. Could give us a total of 36. All right, so we are done loading everything up. It looks like we actually have 37 SCUs worth of recycled material. Go ahead and put that down in our elevator here, and we are empty. That was a great run. The C2, we could go back and fracture it and start to get the construction materials, but I'm just gonna put this back for now. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to collect all the material that we've gotten so far and take it to a sell location. And I'm gonna give you guys some tips and tricks regarding that as well. So I want to move to a medium hangar so I can get one of my good freight ships to move this cargo. All right, so I got my C1 Spirit here as my freight mover, and we are going to now organize all these recycled materials into some personal boxes. It's a pro tip. If you want to make moving commodities and things of that nature a lot easier on yourself, you can just put them into store-all containers instead. So you don't have to tractor 37 small SU boxes back and forth. So I'm going to just put all these over into 8 of these into one of these 8 SU boxes and continue to fill these up until I have everything loaded up. So instead of moving 37 boxes, I only got to move 5. All right, everything's loaded up. We're ready to go. And I also wanted to note in here, we do have an engineering terminal for the C1 Spirit. And I do have the doors locked open. So you can use the engineering terminal to lock the doors open on the C1 Spirit, so that way you can run in and out a lot quicker. You don't have to break them if you don't want to. And we are off. Now, when it comes to selling the commodities, which is the recycled material that we have collected, there are two different websites that you could use to check prices, and which location may give you the best price for your haul. One of those websites would be called SC Trade Tools. In this website, you would just go to the home page here. You come down to commodities, and then you would select recycled material composite. Press submit, and you can see on this website, it shows that Terra Mills Hydro Farm is currently giving the best price for RMC. Terra Mills Hydro Farm is located near Crusader on the Selen Moon. There's another website called UEX. And with this website, let's go to the home page here. You would just select commodities, items, locations. So RMC is what it's going to be called, which is right here, recycled material composite. You would come down to sell, and then it will give you also a list of the current best price. And this website is showing that Terra Mills would be selling it for about 8,300 AUEC. The current best price on this website is showing Sears Canyon, which is located in Pyro. I don't want to fly all the way to Pyro, so we're going to go to Terra Mills Canyon, located near Crusader. And we'll see whether or not the prices on those websites are actually accurate. Huh. We have made it here to Terra Mill Farms, and not only are we unloading our RMC, but it looks like someone left us some RMC out here as well. I don't know who, but we got a bunch of RMC out here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get this in the elevator, and then I'll call it back up. Get the rest of this stuff. Okay. So when it comes to this RMC that was literally just lying around, it's stolen material, so I can't really use it. Darn it. Well, at least it was I mean, it was just out laying out here for a reason, so go ahead and clear this out. Okay, so now that we have everything down in here, we just do the inverse of what we did while we were at base. Take everything out of the big boxes. Okay, so now we have all the boxes unloaded. Let's head over to the office over here and see how much money we can make. Okay, so in the office here, we just select Terra Mills Hydro Farm. There we go. And so for 37 SCU, we are making 330K. But the price per RMC is 8.9. 8.9 thousand AUEC, which is higher than what the websites were telling us. So this is a great place to come sell RMC. We can go ahead and sell 329K. Success. There's this abandoned vulture sitting here, and it looks like it has some materials left in here. I want to see if I can craft a tool to show you guys the crafting in this thing. So we'll try to craft a multi-tool. And what do you know? It's crafting. At least it's saying it is. Uh-huh. There goes our multi-tool. We'll go ahead and stash that. And he has plenty of materials left. Whoever that is. And well, there you have it, folks. That is salvaging with the Drake Vulture. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. This is a great way to make money through this method of industrial gameplay, this game loop. 330K for a little over an hour's worth of work. Maybe an hour and a half with travel distances and times and things of that nature. There are other methods of gathering RMC, either picking up a salvaging contract or going to asteroid belts and stripping panels. In this video, I pretty much went after probably the most lucrative and the most fun style of scavenging, which is going out into the night, being the vulture as this ship is intended to be, going out in stealth and just stripping holes of abandoned ships. It's probably the most effective method in making money utilizing this style of gameplay. So again, hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you liked the video, please leave a like, share your comments in your stories. Do you like salvaging, or would you rather make money in some other methods? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, guys, stay safe out there, and peace.